I want to start this video off by saying that I love Darryl Sutter and I love Milan Lucic. They are two of my favorite people in the Calgary Flames organization right now. And Luch came out, to his credit, being on the second line last game against Seattle. Yes, he had that brutal turnover at the end of the game there, but he really played well. He honestly, as a second liner, he looked like vintage Boston Bruins Milan Lucic there. He was hitting, he was moving well, he was making good plays. I'll give him credit. And like I said, Luch is one of my favorite players, especially on the Flames. And Darryl is the best coach I've ever seen for the Calgary Flames. Like, dude, I've had to endure guys like Jim Playfair, Jeff Ward, who else? Glenn Gulletson, the stick thrower. Like, I've had to see all these guys here. But Darryl is smart. He's so intelligent, and he really has his finger on the pulse of the Calgary Flames. He knows what's going on, and he's such a knowledgeable coach, and I love that about him. That being said, having Milan Lucic on the second line with Lindholm and Toffoli and throwing guys like Brett Ritchie and Trevor Lewis on the power play against Seattle and probably again tonight against the Nashville Predators is unacceptable. I'm sorry, Darryl. And do not come at me with, the Saddle Dome was quiet tonight, which is what Darryl said. And, we didn't have energy. We didn't have this. He came out and criticized his team. Dude, you set them up to fail. You want Lindholm to get going, and you're lucky he did when you put Lucic beside him. And you're putting Ritchie on the power play. What do you think's going to happen here? And you're icing Trevor Lewis in double digits for ice time here. I understand rolling four lines, but Lewis was one of the higher ice times on the entire team against Seattle here. And don't tell me that there's no talent, that he has no choice but to put plugs on the second and third lines and rolling plugs for tons of ice time. Look at the AHL. And I'm sorry, Darryl, you've turned a blind eye to a guy like Matthew Phillips, who has deserved an NHL chance for T-minus 3 years now. Like, I promise you, throw a guy like Matthew Phillips, or I know Jacob Pelletier, he had a really disappointing training camp, but throw him on the second power play unit, third line, even second line in Matthew Phillips' case, highest score in Stockton Heat franchise history, which, by the way, to me, that's a joke. If you're the highest scorer in the AHL's team's history in like 2 years or 3 years of playing, it just means you should be in the NHL. That's what that means. So, because Matthew Phillips is 5'7", that's why he's not in the NHL. Don't kid yourself. But him on the second or third line, second unit power play, I promise you, would create more 5-on-5 and on the power play than Brett Ritchie does, or even Lucic. And again, I'm saying it again, Lucic had a good game against Seattle. He was creating, he looked vintage, he looked good. But put a guy like Matthew Phillips there, and I'm telling you, he creates more offense and more playmaking chances than Milan Lucic does, or Brett Ritchie. And Brett Ritchie's a guy who really impressed me this year. I was on his back the past 2 years thinking, why is this guy in the NHL? Shouldn't be on the team, shouldn't be in the league, I don't like him, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this guy, this season, as a fourth or even third liner, has been very effective. Now, do I want to see him on the third line? Absolutely not. I think as a fourth liner, Brett Ritchie's incredibly effective and very good on a contending team, very useful. As soon as you bump him out of that fourth line spot, he's playing above his skis. He's not meant to be there. Do not put number 24 above the fourth line. He does not belong there. So the fact that Darryl sees these big dudes who are really big and thick and play hard and heavy and mean, like Luch, like Ritchie, like Lewis, he gets so enamored with them that he literally just puts those type of guys in situations that they really should not be in. I mean, come on. Trevor Lewis was a third liner at best, second liner, maybe if he's above his skis on those cup-winning LA Kings teams 10, 12 years ago. Feels like 50 years ago now. But now in 2022, a mid-30s Trevor Lewis, come on, Darryl. You cannot expect this guy to play above what he's meant to be. He knows he's supposed to be a fourth liner. Do not put him above that. Brett Ritchie is a fourth liner. Milan Lucic, from what I've seen, maybe he could be a third liner at best, but he's also bottom six. Come on. That's where he needs to be. And Darryl, I don't understand how you don't see it. This is, to me, two biggest flaws I've seen from Darryl Sutter as a head coach. And again, keeping in mind that I love him so much and he's my favorite Flames coach in history. First of all, he rides his starter too much. Did it with Kiprusoff, did it with Jonathan Quick, plays his starter too much. He's correcting it a little bit this year by vowing to start Dan Vladar at least once a week. But secondly, man, does he love his big, thick, slow plugs. He loves them. He will ride them till the end of time. Seriously, man. He always gives priority and gives advantages to guys like Lucic, like Lewis, and like Richie. That's just his bread and butter here, and we see it again with the lineup card, and we'll see what happens tonight against Nashville. Hopefully he came to his senses and change it up a bit, but man, I don't understand what he's doing here. I hope he wins, and watch them come out here, and Lucic, Richie, and Lewis all score. That would be so funny. I mean, rub it in my face, but even if they do, if they play well tonight, I'm unwavered. I will maintain my stance that this is not sustainable. You cannot win like this consistently in the National Hockey League. You need better guys in your top six and on your power plays. I'm sorry, you do. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. As usual, I want to hear it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.